a Florida Writer podcast, a discussion about writing and other things.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Florida Writer podcast with your host, Alison Nissen. And today I am lucky enough to be with Modello Brown. Modello, could you give us a 60-second elevator pitch about who you are and what you write?
Hey, how you guys doing? Yes, of course. So who I am, I'm a Chicagoan, and I write children's books. My children's books basically cover several bases, things of like my first book, which is Jordan First Day. It has a metaphorical background of how and why hip hop started, and my books also create a segue for children to be educated on like social emotional learning, and it also gives us the possibility to create a dialogue to have the conversation of equality and inclusivity. So yeah, that's basically my reason for writing, and to conquer different life experiences through adult life through children's eyes.
How did you get started writing children's books?
So when I started writing children's books, I was doing hip hop music, and I was fairly just all about like togetherness and love and prosperity. So my first character basically just started out as a cover art, and then I wanted to transition that into a children's brand, like a clothing brand. And then it's like, why would kids want to wear these clothes? And it's like you have to give them something to wow them, and I wanted to create something where I can use my musical background also with my artistic background. And I end up coming with the whole Hip Hop Littles book series. I love writing music, but I can't write a book without writing a song first. So in order for me to create these wonderful reads, I would definitely have to write it as a song, and then go back, create the story, and then go through my editorial team, and then we just come up with the whole perspective for the work.
All right, that's amazing. I've always wanted to write a song, and I can
Yeah.
write fiction and I write nonfiction, I write poetry, and writing a song is something I have no clue on how to do.
um, Writing music is it's tough, but it's learning the poetry schemes. It kind of helps. But if you just write from your heart, write from your experiences, and you use the poetry schemes, it'll come out. Yeah, I mean, if it depends, like if you're trying to be a metaphorical artist, a lyrical artist, or somebody who's just like really just trying to just get the word out, be straightforward. It can be easy, but it can be very, very complicated because you don't want to, deter your audience away from who you are as a person, and try to create a smoke screen for people to just believe one thing and when you're actually someone else. So it can be fairly complicated at times.
All right. So you're writing from the heart, and you start with a song, and then you turn that song into a child's book.
Yeah, for sure.
How does that happen?
Oh man, I mean that goes almost without saying, because it's also something that I really just can't explain. But so my music is based off of my own life experiences. So I use that, and I put that into my books as well. So my books are kind of, I guess it could be a metaphorical reading of what I've been through in life already. And it could be, maybe like a relapse as well, going back into seeing what I've been through and taking that and implementing it into my books. But I use the positive side of things when like when I'm setting up the plot and everything for the books. I I use a creative writing. So I'll take what I have and what I've been through, and I'll put that all in a song, but then I'll look at it from a child's like perspective as well. So I have to go all the way back to me being, 8, 9 years old, and try to remember those events and try to see how it was projected to me, so that way I can project it to my audience.
And give me an example of the life lessons that you're trying to help children understand.
Okay. So just one with like my recent book, which is known as Nerve, that is based off anxiety. So with me growing up in the underprivileged neighborhood in one of the high crime areas in Chicago, I developed anxiety just from my surroundings, being around a lot of violence, and that created anxiety for me going into high school. I started writing music in seventh grade. So when I went into high school and I started performing, the moment I got on stage, my anxiety went through the roof. So I have the entire student body just staring at me. And at this age, I'm what, 15, 16. So I completely just froze. And the guy that I was on stage with, gladly, he was able to coach me and help me through it, and that way, we was able to give a great performance. But me going through those events throughout my life, I kind of took that and I implemented it to known as nerve, which is about stage fright and her anxiety. So I just, transitioned it over to my characters and created that writing.
And what age group are your books?
I would say 3 to 8, but a lot of people really been reading my books to kids that's 10, 13. So
And then they come with the benefit of being able to buy clothing that represents the book characters.
yes, so okay, so hip hop littles. I'm basically I look at myself as being like the Walt Disney for the culture. I know that that's a heavy saying, but I have a strong belief that the most magical things happen from seeing things that you could never imagine. So me growing up in those areas, me and other kids that's in those areas, we see things that people probably would never be able to imagine. And I want to create something that projects and give us, a spotlight to be able to be seen, to be able to see the things that we go through, but also through a 3D animation um, viewpoint as well. So that's kind of like exactly what I'm trying to build here. So all of my characters have very lifelike personalities. So the children are really able to relate to these characters because they have fears. They have things that like they look at as occupations, things they love, their downfalls and things of that nature too. So each character is different. Each character is from a different ethnicity. Each character has a different passion and love for something that's pertaining to the music industry. So it's a whole thing that's being created here.
And what's your favorite part of this whole process?
My favorite part of the process, honestly, is just the feedback that I get from parents and I get from children. That is probably the most rewarding thing I would say coming from doing what I do.
Do you take your books into schools and the libraries?
Yes, libraries have kind of been, it's been a little rough with libraries recently. They, I get a lot of like reviews, granted, but libraries look for a lot of professional reviews. So as I'm building my professional reviews, and then I plan to attack all like libraries in 2024. Schools, I do schools out in Chicagoland area and the outskirts as well.
That's really interesting. So how are you finding your audience most of the time?
Uh, for the most part, it's through social media. That's where my heavy marketing is, and also, I have a marketing team that I just brought onto the company, so they do a lot of groundwork for me. And so, I'll leave books in like pediatric offices, and things like hospitals. Like, um, I don't know if you've ever heard of what's the hospital? I can't think of it right now. It's a huge hospital in Chicago, and we donate books to them as well. I've donated books to shelters out in New York as well. So, that's basically how I, build my connections and get my feedback and my reviews from a lot of parents.
What an interesting tactic to connect with places like hospitals and shelters.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel as though that, a lot of children, when they go in for like surgeries or any sickness, it's like, you don't want them to go in with the mindset of like, oh, what's about to happen to me? You want to you always want to kind of calm the child down. So I feel as though like a good read with good artistic projection and a relatable story, it can kind of calm the child down in the sense of the word for sure.
Do you also do the artwork?
Yes, I also do the artwork. I have a co-artist as well too, because I'm not able to, complete everything in one seating. So I have a co-artist that helps as well.
Wow, you are the whole package.
I try to be. I really try to be. But what I love working with other people though. Like my whole life, I've always worked with other people, and that's been like one of um my main characteristics is team building. So that's one thing that I do love to do. So me having staff and me having members that work with me in the company is definitely a wonderful feeling to be able to celebrate your wins with people that have the same passion as you for sure.
So what's next? Do you have any new books on the horizon? You want to expand to other type of children's books or a different age group?
So what's next? 2024 will be completely based off of the marketing spectrum. I have a new book that'll be coming out, which is Ryan's Podcast Blues. That will be coming out around the summertime. That book will be based off depression. So also we'll be hosting mixers where it'll be like a hip hop littles mixer, like where kids will come in. Our sponsors will be involved, and they'll come in, and I'll pair them at this event where it's like an escape room. So I'll pair them with children that they don't know for a social emotional learning and team building experience to whereas they can, it'll help them develop friendships for sure. And it'll help them cope with being able to interact with different kids of different ethnicities, from different backgrounds for sure. So that is my plan for 2024 to grow that and to possibly start my animation series on YouTube, which would be like a Disney like 3D animation story of everything that's being built of the books of the characters lifestyle and everything like that. So I've been writing the dialogue and getting everything ready for the series as well.
Holy smokes, that is crazy.
I'm trying to create something new. Like I said, like we need a Magic Kingdom, we need another Magic Kingdom. And being Walt Disney being from Chicago, I feel like it's only right that I go after the torch and I come right behind them.
I love it. That's great. All right. So the YouTube series, are you currently reading your books and putting them on YouTube or anything like that?
I have a reader who works for me, and my plan is to get her to do that as far as I do book readings on YouTube. I haven't started that segment yet, um, because I want to do it with a different type of creativity. Like I don't want it to be just a person reading the books to the children. I want it to be live animation. I want it to be animated. I want the characters to be able to walk across the screen at certain points. It's like I really want a huge thing to when I develop this reading for YouTube. But the series will be just like watching a mini Disney movie. So that's kind of what I'm looking to create very soon. It's taking a lot because I have to, start animation school again. But with that and me, networking with people, I don't have any investors, but I'm looking for investors, but I don't have any just yet. So everything I'm doing right now is completely out of pocket. So yeah, it's it's a huge thing. It's definitely a huge thing that's coming for the years coming for sure.
Are you still performing music? Are you just writing
No,
the songs to write the books?
yeah, so I'm not performing anymore. I feel like I don't have the energy to perform to perform on stage anymore. Um, so the music that I do write is more so like I'm reinventing the magical eyes of the Disney culture, and the music I'm writing is literally for the animation series. So, like Disney is heavy on like the singing spectrum in their movies. Me, I want to do more of the hip hop spectrum. But people will look at it like, oh, like a kid's bop. But yeah, but no, it's like it's like yes and no at the same time. So, uh, like with me creating that hip hop spectrum, of course it's no profanity or anything in that nature. It's all uplifting hip hop music that I plan to write. Some songs will be a little bit dumbed down or a little saddened because there are emotions that's involved with these characters as well. So we want that to be projected as well as the uplifts and the happiness. So that's kind of what I'm working on as well as writing the music for the animation series.
Incredible. Incredible. I am very impressed. I think a hip hop genre is a really um fantastic way to connect with community, and kids love hip hop.
Yeah, yeah. I look at it as from my reading as being one of the like the most multicultural genres of music. So with me intertwining that with my artistic ability, I feel as though we all have a responsibility and to push the conversation forward and no like until we're all free. Like no one's free until we're all free. Like that's kind of the way I look at things. And that's kind of like what I look for children to take away from the readings in my book. It's you know we are sorry, we're all here for a reason and to push equality. So that's basically my heavy statement. And I want them to also know, like, your story only gets better because you know the author, you know.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Becoming connected to your audience. It's really the only way authors can succeed is when their audience knows a little bit about who they are, because they have a
Yeah,
sense of trust. When you build that trust, you build that relationship.
exactly, exactly. So, that's why I love connecting with doing these podcasts. It's a great thing because I get to do a one-on-one with the host, and I always enjoy the connection that I have with the host, and then looking forward to, possibly, even building with them, like I when they post the interviews that we have, we do like a whole marketing thing. Like I'll tell my staff, like, if they send over a marketing or a digital advertisement, we'll use that. But we'll also create our own digital advertisement to send over and to promote with the podcast because we want people to see and understand like what we're here for and what we do.
Modell Brown, how can people get in touch with you? How can they learn more about Hip Hop Littles?
Get in touch with us everywhere. Hiphoplittles.com, Hip Hop Littles on Instagram, Hip Hop Littles on Facebook. My personal Instagram is at OK Modello.
At OK Modello.
Modello, yes, ma'am.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much. Are you ready to switch to our rapid fire questions?
All right, let me warm up. All right, let's have it. Let's go.
All right. Speaking of warm up, what is your favorite warm drink?
My favorite warm drink. That's heavy because I don't like anything warm. I don't. If it's warm,
And you're
I
from
don't.
Chicago. How can
I
you stand it?
I know because me being from Chicago and me being outside as a kid all the time, it's like the cold, I'm so used to it. So even if I'm in the cold, I still want a cold drink. And it's like it does, and it's like it may make my body maybe like 3 degrees a little colder, but it's just something warm is just like I don't know. Like warm drinks leave an aftertaste to me. That's just how I look at it.
What is your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday is Halloween. I must say it's Halloween because I feel I have a strong like understanding. Like my theory with Halloween is given the way the economy is and society nowadays, Halloween is my favorite holiday because it's the only holiday that you can be whoever you want to be with no judgment.
Excellent point. Final question. If you were going to hop on a boat, would you rather it be a slow boat or a fast boat?
I would rather it be a slow boat.
Take a nice
Because
cruise somewhere.
yes, I'm very big on sightseeing. I'm very big on nature, and I love a calm setting. So being fast is too fast for me. It's moving. It's too much going on at one time. I'm not able to enjoy it. My anxiety may go through the roof. So no, like I love the calmness of like the sea and like the creatures like at sea bottom. It's like it's so many things in the water that we just don't even know about nowadays. So I don't know. I would love to see that.
Modello Brown, thank you so much for stopping by.
All right, of course. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you taking the time out to reach out to me and let me give my story on my books and my company and what I'm doing. I really do appreciate it.
You have been listening to another edition of the Florida Writer Podcast with your host, Alison Nissen. Alison out. Ooh, we're all done.
All right. Thank you.
Modello Brown was raised in Englewood, Chicago, Illinois. Starting off rough in a middle-class community that's known as one of the most unsafe areas in the city, hard times were inevitable. With a lack of diversity, crime control, and especially job opportunities, Modello had to strive to achieve the success he has today. Having always been interested in different forms of art, including music, animation, drawing, and painting, Modello took his passion and used it to create a better future for himself. While in a recording session, Modello realized the need for togetherness. Among other things, Modello believes music to be that one force strong enough to tether communities together, and thus Hip Hop Littles was born. For more information about Modello, visit him everywhere at Hip Hop Littles. For more information about the Florida Writers Association, visit us at floridawriters.org. Until next time.